Hey everyone, Cybernetic V here. How are you beautiful people today? Welcome back for another Pokemon Red solo run. So, if you watched my previous video, you probably know how this works. Basically, I come to commentpicker.com and insert a file with all the Gen 1 Pokemon names and choose randomly one of them to run, and this time it's not gonna be different. So, if you guys want to skip all this mumbo-jumbo at the beginning, you can go to the description below and the time when the run starts is just right there. You can see that this time Paris is not on the list, which means only 150 remain, and we're gonna be running them all. So, a couple of shuffles and let's click this button. And oh boy, I wasn't expecting this. Golem. Oh my goodness, this is going to be great. Okay, so now that the game is randomized and I've already changed my background, time to get to it. Obviously, options are as follow. No battle animations, battle style is set to set, and text speed is set to fast because we want to finish the game as fast as possible. As always, my name is going to be CV. And this time, for the rival's name, I go with the name that I should have thought of the first time. Karen. Now, obviously, having a golem at the very start is going to make things easier, obviously, but we want to make things harder. So, in order to do that, I choose a different Pokemon for Karen. In this case, I don't go for Squirtle because, well, I want to change. I don't want a starter on every video, so this time I actually think about what Pokemon are good against Golem, and I go for Poliwrath. Now, Poliwrath starts with 4 moves, being Body Slam, Double Slap, Hypnosis, and yeah, Water Gun. Golem, on the other hand, starts with Tackle and Defense Curl. If I get hit once with Water Gun, I'm done. Our first battle with Karen starts, and I think that Body Slam, Double Slap are not gonna deal any damage. Golem is a fully evolved Pokemon, so he has a lot of defense already, even at level 5, so he should tank these pretty well. Golem will go with Tackle every single turn, so I don't need to talk about what Golem is going to do here. Now Poliwrath goes with Double Slap, which doesn't do anything, then goes for Hypnosis but fails. Next it goes for Body Slam, again doesn't do anything, goes for Hypnosis again but misses a second time. On his third try he's able to make me sleep, then goes for Double Slap again, and after all of that it goes for Water Gun. So I'm done. That's it. After that, I decide I'm going to Viridian Forest immediately and just go through it because, well, I'm Golem. Nothing's gonna stop me. I don't go for the second rival fight because I know for a fact that even if I can get rid of PG really fast, Poliwrath only needs 1 Water Gun and it's over. So I go through Viridian Forest, it's really easy, I get through every fight really easily. Then I get to Pewter. By the way, there's something that intrigues me, I don't know why, but Poison Sting seems to miss every single time on Golem. But enough with that. I go for the gym, and while the first trainer is really easy, I think about something. I only have Tackle and Defense Curl, and I'm not gonna beat Brock like this. So I go out and I'm gonna get rid of all my Defense Curls in order to use Struggle against Brock. Because 35 tackles, if I don't crit, I'm probably not gonna get rid of Geodude that fast. So I go back to Viridian Forest to get rid of almost all of my uses of Defense Curls, and then go fight Brock. I managed to beat Geodude, leveling me up to 13, but, well, I didn't have enough tackles. I end up using all my Defense Curls, and then I struggle until I die. So I gotta come up with a new strategy. This time though, I know that Golem learns a new move at level 16, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I go back to Viridian, and once I hit level 16, it's time to go beat Brock. This time I managed to beat Geodude pretty easily, keeping as many rock throws as I could for Onyx. And the thing with rock throw is that it can miss, so I'm trying to keep as much as I can for Onyx, because I don't want to risk losing all my uses for it. So I get to Onyx, and the problem here is that Onyx outspeeds, which means that when it uses Bite and I go for rock throw, I actually want to miss, because if I hit, I'm gonna be hit at the end of Bite. So this ends up happening 3 times, and I'm just barely able to make it through. With only 3 HP to spare, I get my first badge. Brock, you're done. After coming out of Brock's gym, I get an idea. I'm going to battle every trainer on the way, because once I get to Cerulean, my big problem is going to be Karen. I mean, Karen and Misty, but more Karen, because with the Poliwrath, with a higher level than me, it can outspeed, and if it does, it can kill me in 1 hit. And if it does, I can't go forward. So instead of having to train on the tall grass, I go for the trainers. Once I get to Cerulean, I'm all the way up to level 24 and I go immediately for Karen. And, well, I was really worrying about nothing. Pidgeotto goes for Quick Attack, which is great, and I just go for Rock Throw and done. Next up is Abra, and, well, Abra only knows 1 move, which is Teleport, so I go for Mega Punch, and I knock it down in 1 hit. Then Rattata comes out, I tackle, but I don't one-shot, so I take the opportunity to set up Defense Curl until my defense is at max. This took some time because Rattata would lower my defense from time to time, but eventually I just tackle and kill it. And then Poliwrath finally comes out. I go for Rock Throw, but I miss, so it goes for Body Slam, and it doesn't do anything. I go for another Rock Throw, but this time it goes for Water Gun. Fortunately, that doesn't kill me, which means I go for a Scratch and the battle is over. I won. I kept wondering how low of a level I could have done this fight. I make sure to clean up routes 24 and 25 before paying a visit to Bill, because I know that if Karen wasn't hard, Misty is gonna be. So after visiting Bill, I go immediately for the gym. And while the other trainers were super easy, once I get to Misty though, I get destroyed. I try to set up Harden, and while the first use was free because Misty uses an X-Defend on Staryu, I get hit with Water Gun on the second try, and I barely take out Staryu with Seismic Toss. Time for Starmie, and I don't even get a chance to attack. So my next plan is obviously go to Vermilion and board the SSN. And that's what I do. I only battle a couple of trainers on the way, only leveling me up once. And so our next Karen fight is here. And Pidgeotto comes first. I miss my first Rock Throw, it goes for Sand Attack, but I'm still able to take it out on the next turn with another Rock Throw. Raticate goes down with a Mega Punch. Now, Kadabra comes out, and this time it doesn't know only Teleport. And I make the mistake of trying to set up my Harden here. So I get hit with Confusion a couple of times, ending up in me being confused, and so I get hit in my confusion, and I lose a lot of HP. Poliwrath is sent, I go for Rock Throw, I miss, I get hit with Water Gun. I'm dead. Time for round number 2. This time, Pidgeotto goes for Quick Attack, we hit our first Rock Throw, Pidgeotto is down. And what I choose to do is set up my Hardens on Raticate, because it doesn't have any move that can damage me or put me into a confusion state or even sleep or whatever. So after finishing setting up my Hardens, I take it out with Mega Punch, I one-shot Kadabra with Rock Throw, and then, even though it's not very effective, I use 2 Rock Throws against Poliwrath and I knock it down. After the fight, we pick up Cut and get out of SSN. And oh my god, I am an idiot. I completely forget to pick up Body Slam. But anyway, I try and go back to Cerulean and try to go beat Misty again. And, well, it's just not gonna work right now. While I can beat Stario pretty easily, once Starmie gets out, I get destroyed. It's not even a fair fight. It outspeeds me even though it's 11 levels lower and crits every turn. So after trying twice, I abandon the idea and just go back to Vermilion, where I can train on the trainers on Route 11. And while the trainers at Route 11 aren't enough to level me up to what I want, I go to Diglight's cave and level up all the way to 36, because guess what? At 36, Golem learns Earthquake. And with Earthquake at hand, I go back to Misty and, well, both Staryu and Starmie go down in one hit. Even though Starmie hits me once, it doesn't kill me and I end up getting the win. Second badge done, 6 to go. After beating Misty, I quickly go back to Vermilion. It's time to go get the Thunder badge. And the same thing happens here. Since ground moves are super effective against electric types, they all go down in one hit. And now we already have 3 badges. Well, time to go to Celadon. I try and battle as few trainers as I can, because I want to try and see how low of a level I can actually finish the game. Because, let's face it, Golem is probably going to be champion. And the fight against Erika is exactly as you could expect. I destroy your team with Earthquake. Now we've got 4 badges, and it's been pretty quick so far. Let's continue. By the way, how many of you actually knew that inside this building in Celadon there is an Eden PC? We want to go for the game corner now, but first I gotta make a trade. I go all the way up Celadon's store and trade a soda pop with the girl on the left, because she trades that for Rock Slide, which is a better, faster and more accurate version of Rock Throw, and we're gonna need that. So we ditch that to Golem and go for the game corner. There we venture into the basement and only fight who we absolutely have to in order to make our way to Giovanni. And you can probably guess how this fight went, right? Onyx and Rhyhorn are both ground and rock, and then Kangaskhan is normal. So they all go down with an Earthquake. With this fight done, we pick up the Sylph Scope, go pick Fly up, and then we go back to Lavender, because we have Lavender Tower to do. Before going to the next Karen fight, I have a little explaining to do. Remember that I've been saying that I need to set up my Hardens? So the reason for that is that Gen 1 has a little thing called Badge Boost. And how that works is there are 4 badges out of the 8, one being Brock, the other being Surge, the third is Koga, and the last one is Blaine. And once you obtain each one of them, they all boost one particular stat. Let's take Brock's for instance. This one boosts your attack by 12.5%. Now, the thing is, when you use a stat boosting item or move during a fight, that badge boost gets an additional 12.5%. That means that, let's say you beat Brock. After that, any fight you get into, if you use a stat boosting move or item, you'll get an additional 12.5% attack each time you use it until it's maxed. Though the effect gets cancelled if either 1. You level up during a fight, 2. You get hit with a stat reducing move, or 3. Well, the battle ends. That means that in each battle that you enter, you have to redo the entire process in order to get the boosts. I know, it's broken, but we're talking about Gen 1. Let's get back to business. So, like always, Karen starts with Pidgeotto, it goes for Quick Attack, gets hit with Rock Slide, next. Growlithe comes up, I hit with Dig, and it's a 1-hit KO. Execute is next, and I go for Dig, and even though it's not very effective, I still manage to beat it in 1 hit. Kadabra goes down with 1 Earthquake, and then Poliwrath comes out, and 1 Earthquake again. that is great. I mean, I know that I'm already level 43, but things could have been worse. Well, since ghost types are really weak against ground moves, I make quick work of Lavender Tower. Now that we've got the Poke Flutes, it's time to go to Fuchsia City. So I actually decide to go from Celadon to Fuchsia because there's no mandatory fight on the way. Once I get to Fuchsia, I go to the gym right away, only fighting the trainers that I really cannot avoid. And so, after that, it's time for Koga. The battle starts, I use Harden twice, and hey, ground types are effective against poison too! I one-shot everything. 5th badge is ours. Next, after Koga, we go pick up Surf and Strength, and we go straight to Saffron City. From there, we go to the Sylph building, and since we want to get in and out as fast as possible, we enter the Sylph building, only fight whoever we need to, and go directly to Karen. Now, again, Karen has an upgraded team. Now Pidgeotto is Pidgeot. And it goes for Quick Attack. Rock Slide takes care of it in one hit. Karen sends Growlithe, and we set up Harden until we can't use it anymore and just go for Earthquake, killing it immediately. Then Execute, Alakazam and Poliwrath all go down with one Earthquake, making this the easiest fight so far. But wait, Giovanni's fight ends up being even easier than Karen. One Earthquake for each one of his Pokemon is enough to kill him. I don't even need to set up Harden. I immediately go for Earthquake and one-shot his entire team, officially making this the easiest fight of the run. And so, after we're done, time to go for Cinnabar. I go to Pallet Town and... Did you know that you could actually find Pidgeottos in the middle of the water? I didn't. After all these years playing Pokemon, I didn't know that in Gen 1 you could actually find Pidgeottos here. Just to say, you learn something new every day. Now in Cinnabar, I go for the secret key, I don't battle anyone because I really don't need to, and then I go for the gym. Inside of the gym, I do exactly the same. I don't need to fight anyone, so I answer all the quizzes and go for Blaine. The fight against Blaine went exactly as you can expect. As soon as Growlithe comes up, I set up my Ardents, even though, thinking back on it, I really wouldn't need that, seeing as Earthquake is super effective against them, and they are fire Pokemon. They can't do anything to me. So I one-shot his team with Earthquake, making this our 6th gym badge. And remember that I just said 6 because it's going to be important in just a second. I go back to Viridian and start making my way to Pokemon League for some reason. And wait, no fight? Oh yeah, I completely forgot the fight against Giovanni. So I go back to Viridian again. And once I get to Viridian, the door is locked. Why is the door locked? Oh. For the 2nd time in this run, I am an idiot. I completely forgot Sabrina. Let's go back to Saffron. So, obviously, since I want to do this as low level as I can, I don't fight anyone inside the gym and go straight for Sabrina. She starts with Kadabra and I try setting up an Arden, but she hits me with Psychic and it takes a lot of HP, so I'm just done with him. I use Earthquake and it's better that way. After that, I use Harden twice on Mr. Mime, then I take it out with an Earthquake, and on Venomoth, I actually take the risk of using 2 more Hardens, and it uses Stun Spore twice, and it misses. How lucky I am. So I just take care of Venomoth and go straight to Alakazam, and 1 Earthquake is enough. Now that we have 7 badges, we can finally go to Giovanni. And look, this run, Golem has been an absolute beast so far. So I go into Giovanni's gym, only fight when I need to, and go straight to him. And so the fight starts, and I set up my Hardens, and that's it. His whole entire team crumbles away with Earthquake. I'm done. I'm really done with this. 8 badges, and it's been super easy so far. Time to get Karen again. So we enter the battle, and as always, the first Pokemon to be sent is Pidgeot. I mispress and go for Earthquake on the first turn, but I'm then able to set my badge boost because Pidgeot keeps on using agility. And while it boosts its speed a lot, it's not reducing my accuracy like Sand Attack does, so I'm able to take care of it pretty quickly with Rock Slide after all. The rest of the team is just Child's Play. I end everything with Earthquake. The only exception being Execute, which almost hit me with Stun Spore, but fortunately it misses and I'm able to take it out just after. Now, we're level 53. We just beat Karen for the last time before the Pokemon League. And we're ready to go. I go through Victory Road without fighting... Crap. Well, yeah, I end up fighting 2 trainers because I completely forgot they were there. Anyway, moving on. We get to Victory Road and we're ready to go. I make sure I buy some items before going because I know that so far Golem has been a monster, but Lorelei has Ice type Pokemon and Ice moves are very effective against Golem. I would need a good setup to beat Lorelei without dying. But before going in, I actually go back and pick up some items that I forgot to pick because I only had 3 move restoring items and I wasn't going to get through the Pokemon League without using them all. So, since I needed some more, I took the opportunity to go pick some rare candies as well. And with that, we're finally ready to go to the Pokemon League. Believe me when I say that this is a complete disaster. What happens is, if I don't get killed by Dugong, I get killed by Cloyster. And they have such good moves that they just completely destroy me. So I need to come up with a strategy. And Dugong is the key to that strategy. Because it knows Rest, I can actually use that in order to set up my Hardens to make sure I can one-shot her whole team. The issue is that every time Dugong used Rest, it would only sleep for 2 turns and it would wake up immediately. After that, it would use Aurora Beam every single time and I would die. So, after a lot, and I mean a lot of tries, I finally get through. Dugong goes for Rest, I set up 2 Hardens, then I beat both Dugong and Cloyster in one hit with Rock Slide, and once I get to Slowbro, I get actually very lucky. I'm able to set up the rest of my Hardens without getting hit. But after that I do get hit by a Water Gun, but it's not good anymore that it can deal that much damage to me. So I'm able to beat Slowbro with Earthquake. Then Jinx goes down with an Earthquake as well, but I level up. Which means that now my boosts are reset. So I'm probably gonna die against Lapras. I go for Earthquake, hit for about 50%, it goes for Hydro Pump, but finally misses. So I'm able to beat it and get Lorelei done. Finally. Next opponent is Bruno and I completely ruin his team. He goes for Onix, I set up my badge boost, then one-shot his whole team. Bruno's done, next up is Agatha. And like I said before, Agatha has Ghost Pokemon. And guess what's good against Ghost? Yeah, exactly. Earthquake. The first Gengar goes down with Earthquake, her Golbat goes down with Rock Slide, then Otter comes out and it outspeeds me. and it goes for Confuse Ray. So I end up losing a lot of HP against Haunter, but I'm able to take care of it. Then I try setting up for a badge boost on Arbok, but it starts screeching, so I end it with an Earthquake, and then Gengar goes down with an Earthquake as well. We only need to beat Lance, and then Karen once more. I knew that Karen would probably not be a problem at all. If I could set up my badge boost on Pidgeot, I could probably take care of her whole team. My problem was Lance. Lance starts off with a Gyarados. And Gyarados knows Hydro Pump. So I go fight Lance and Gyarados goes for Hydro Pump, like I was expecting. And I die immediately. So I try again and it's the same result. And I know I could have tried more until Hydro Pump failed, but I didn't want to risk getting hit 40 more times, so I end up using all my rare candies and go into the fight again. And what do you know? I'm actually faster than Gyarados now. I go for Rock Slide, taking it out immediately, and after beating Gyarados, the rest of the fight was super easy. I set up my badge boost against the first Dragonair, and then just Earthquake the two Dragonairs, and Rock Slide both Aerodactyl and Dragonite. And that's it. Lance is done. Only one fight remaining. I make sure to restore all my moves and then move on to the fight. And so the last fight in the whole game was as easy as I could expect it to be. I enter the fight, Karen sends Pidgeot, I set up my badge boost, then destroy Pidgeot with Rock Slide. After that comes Alakazam, and I beat it with an Earthquake, but the problem is, I level up. But wait, there's a backup. Rhydon comes up. So when Rhydon is sent, I set up my badge boost again. Then I Earthquaker Rhydon, I Earthquaker Arcanine, and Executor comes out. Now the problem is that Earthquake doesn't kill, and I get put to sleep. I'm able to take care of it pretty easily, but it did take a little bit of time. Then, finally, Poliwrath comes up, I use Earthquake, I crit, and that's it. Golem did it, level 69, and is champion. Now, let's move on to analyze the data that we got from this run. So, this time, we got Golem at level 69, and he was able to beat the game at 6 hours and 32 minutes of real time, with an in-game time of 6 hours and 24 minutes. Now, the reason the two timers are a little bit separated is because I had to go grab a bite midway through the run, and also, at the very end, before Lance, I actually saved because I was pretty sure I would die against Gyarados. And so, by loading twice, I end up losing a couple of minutes. And now, for the total of deaths, 40. And I'm aware I could have done much better, but I got stubborn when I got to Lorelei, and I really wanted to beat her at the lowest level possible, and that's why there are so many deaths. Otherwise, I could have definitely done much better than Paris. Now, finally, let's listen to what Oak has to say. Anyone with a Pebble could do better. And, well, again, I have to agree. Even though I didn't make any big mistake this time, the fact that I got really stubborn against Lorelei just made this much worse than it actually is. Golem is a very fun Pokemon to run. If you want to run it, I mean, go for it. You'll definitely have a good time with it. Just make sure you're careful with Lorelei and with Lance. Now, you know what time it is. That's right, the question of the day. Today, I want to know, what is your favorite glitch or bug in any game? And you can use any game that you think of. Okay guys, it's now time for me to say goodbye to everyone. So, you know, if you like the video, make sure you click on that thumbs up, click the subscribe button if you want to see more, And if you want to get notified when I upload a new video, make sure you click the bell icon as well. As always, I hope you all have an excellent day, including all the Karens in the world, and I'll see you guys on the next Pokemon run. Bye.